In today's video, I'm going to take a really powerful mental exercise that many of you have done successfully in the past, and I'm going to tweak it so that it also talks about preparing for retirement and how are you doing on that front. So what I'm talking about is a year-end review. And it doesn't need to be a year-end review. You can do it anytime. It doesn't have to be December or January. You can do it in April. You can do it in July. You can do it in October. It's just a 12-month look back. And there are so many year-in review planners out there that the world doesn't need Azul coming up with a new one. So I'm just borrowing one from Nest Labs. It's available for free on their website, nestlabs.com. And I'll put a link in the show notes. They also have an annual membership. This isn't sponsored by Nest Labs. I'm just a fan of their services. I pay out of my pocket $49 a year because I find it extremely valuable. You know, one of the things that's powerful with a 12-month look back is the self-reflection that takes place. You know, what are the things that you look back at and you're like, wow, you know, I'm really happy I did those things. I'm proud of myself for those things. And what are the things that you look back at and say, you know, I want to change that in the next 12 months. And then what's your game plan for the next 12 months? Now, a lot of people might say, you know what, that sounds like a lot of work. And frankly, a lot of these 12-month look backs are a lot of work. But one of the reasons I chose Nest Labs is I find their review something I can do in a half hour to an hour. It's a great investment in my time every 12 months. It's also fun. It's also super high level. I'm a high level person. I think I'm a big 80-20 person. I want to get 80% of the benefit I'm lazy, I guess, with 20% of the work. It's also something, candidly, that my spouse and I do together, you know, and it's really fun to kind of sit down as a couple and see how was her year, you know, what's her self-reflection on last year? What's she proud of? What are some things she wishes she had done differently? And then what's the game plan for the next 12 months? So if you have a life partner, I encourage you to do it with him or her. It can be a bonding experience. So this Nest Labs one, again, you can follow along. You can download your own. And this is not gonna be a half-hour video. I'm not gonna go through it all. And it covers 9 categories. I'm not gonna go through all those categories, but it's very broad: health, business, your friends, relationships, how did you do on learning, travel, your hobbies. I guess I am going through them all. And then the last one, instead of finances, retirement readiness. So again, what I like is it's super high level. There's just 3 things to think about in each of those 9 categories. What went well, which is the pluses column. What didn't go well, and then what's the game plan for the next 12 months. So let's jump in and look at an example. The first one's going to be health and fitness, and then we'll jump into the retirement readiness, where I'll do a hypothetical example. Okay, so health and fitness for me, how was the year? You know, overall, it was okay. It was okay. You'll see, I have some things I'm proud of, and there's some things I want to tweak. I worked out consistently. I added what I call polar plunges, which is just another name for the ice baths. But one of my daughters lives near the Puget Sound, so when I'm in her area, I just go in the Puget Sound. Let me tell you, it's plenty cold in the Puget Sound. I'll also take 2 minutes, the last 2 minutes of my shower. I just turn off the hot water and I take a cold shower. So I'm proud that I did that. I also increased my bench press this year. This is the first time in like 3 years that my bench press actually went up instead of down. I don't frankly know what was the reason for that, but I'm grateful for that. Then I increased my running distance by a little bit, and I had a positive mental attitude all year. What didn't go so well? This time last year, I was hoping I would lose 10 pounds over the coming 12 months. You know, unfortunately, I gained 10 pounds. So I need to work on that. And I went from being 100% vegan to being what I call a practical vegan, and really being vegan 90% of the time. I want to get back to 100% vegan. I had a minor sports injury, and then, you know, related to the gaining 10 pounds, I'm eating too much after 8 p.m. So what do I want to change for next year? I want to go to bed earlier. I want to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep instead of the 6 or 7 that I'm getting now. And I actually want to hire a life coach to help me with this, gaining the 10 pounds. For me, it's a mental thing more than anything else. I don't know why I'm overeating after 8 o'clock, but I am. So I'm going to hire a life coach to help me with that. And then the final thing is, and this one's not going to be inexpensive, is something to help me think about meal preparation. So those are 2 things. Now, there are 9 different categories. Really, the way I tweaked it, there's 10. The last 2 are about retirement readiness. And so you do the same thing. You go through the pros, you go through the cons, the pluses and the minuses, and then the thing that you want to change. So for retirement readiness, this is a hypothetical example just to walk you through how I've tweaked this so you can also include retirement readiness. You know, and there's really 2 aspects you've heard me talk about a lot with retirement readiness. There's the financial side, which gets a lot of press, gets a lot of videos on from my colleagues on YouTube. But then there's also the mental preparation. And frankly, the mental preparation can be the most difficult of the 2. So in this hypothetical example of this married couple, you'll see mentioning spouse here earlier. What went well for them? They met with a fee-only financial advisor. They feel they have a clear idea of how much money they need to get to, what the financial number is. And they've nailed down an asset allocation that they feel will work for them in good times and bad times. What didn't go so well, like a lot of people, they spent more than they were planning to. In this case, they bought a car and that was more expensive than what they had budgeted. Also, like a lot of people, they were able to save money, but they forgot to invest it. It was at the end of the year and they're like, oh, you know, it's still sitting on our bank account. We need to do something. And then finally, they haven't updated their wills in a long time. Again, like a lot of us, we did our wills when our kids were younger, particularly for, you know, who's going to raise our kids if, God forbid, something happens to us. But as your kids become adults, as your life changes, you should update things like that. So what do they want to do next year? They want to not just meet with the fee-only financial advisor and get information, but they also want help with the execution of that plan. So that they don't get to December and say, oh, we forgot to invest our money. So they're actually going to hire somebody next year. And guilty as charged, I'm a fee-only financial advisor, so you knew that that was going to be in there. And second, they're going to meet with an attorney and actually update their will just so it reflects their current reality. Okay, so that's the financial side of retirement readiness. What about on the emotional side? You know, what went well? Again, married couple here. The spouse and this person had several good conversations about what retirement looks like to them, how they're going to spend their time. Are they going to spend 24/7 with each other? You know the answer to that. No, they're not going to. But they had that conversation. And in this case, the person actually took all of their vacation, which people might be thinking, yes, of course they took all their vacation, but you'd be surprised. According to Pew Research, only half of us take, less than half, about half of us take all our vacation. I think the number is like 47% take all of our vacation, or did not take all of our vacation. Either way, it's 50-50. Okay, next one is picked up a new activity, a new sport, road cycling, and made friends through that. That's good to do for retirement readiness. How are you going to spend your time? And then volunteered several times at a local charity that they enjoyed working with. Okay, what didn't go so well? Work is still too big of a part of their identity, and guilty as charged. It's not just this hypothetical couple, it's also me. I suspect it's a lot of you as well. On the beach vacation, the guy or gal was taking too many phone calls, work phone calls, and doing some emails as opposed to unplugging, which is important. And then this person's spouse and this person don't agree on where they're going to live in retirement. So that's a big thing, but it's good they have that identified. So what are they going to do next year? Well, first, you know, during their vacation, they're going to explore where they might want to live in vacation. So that's a good thing from that. They're also going to, one of the spouses is going to explore getting more involved in this not-for-profit, maybe joining their board of directors. And then also taking a mini retirement, a sabbatical next year, instead of just taking all the vacation, which is job number one. But job number two is take a sabbatical. Take, if you can, 30 days off, talk to your boss. It's important. See if you can get a longer period of time off, and you can test out, in this case, travel. Do they really enjoy travel? Would they enjoy traveling to places like Southeast Asia, maybe even living there for a couple months out of the year? So this is the tool. It's done by nestlabs.com. Thank you, Nest Labs. And I also want you to watch this video here, which talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.